You've made it through every single encounter in the raid, and now you're on to Oryx, which is the coolest encounter in this entire raid. There's a lot going on in this encounter, but don't worry, I'm going to help you break it all down. First of all, let's look at the diagram. If you need to screenshot it, go ahead and do that. This shows you all the major spawns and everything you need to know about the encounter. As always, if you found this video useful or entertaining, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button down below. Thank you so much for watching, and let's get into it. Okay, so for this encounter, we're going to take everything we've learned from the Daughters encounter and add on to it. If you don't know how the Daughters encounter works, here's my video right here on it. Go watch that and then come back. But I would hope that since you're on the Oryx encounter, you know how the Daughters encounter works. So just like the last encounter, assign everyone to a plate and then assign 2 floaters. Again, the floater takes over all the jobs of whoever is torn between dimensions. This encounter is similar to the last one, but it starts differently. You start the encounter by walking up to the little glowing ball at the far end of the encounter, farthest away from the door. Instead of a knight spawning on the first plate, Oryx will fly around the room and choose the first plate that he wants to activate, and he'll slam it with his fist. Note that after he slams the first plate and someone has run through the first torn sequence, the next 2 sequences will start with a random glowing plate. There will be no knight spawning on it, and Oryx will not slam it with his fist. You just have to look out for a glowing plate. After he slams the first plate, continue to do everything you did in the Sisters encounter, calling out plates, running between dimensions, and all that. When the first person who's torn between dimensions starts running on the platforms, 4 ogres will spawn. Each of their spawns are marked on the diagram. Kill them quickly and they'll drop a blight bomb. Whatever you do, do not enter the area around these blight bombs. It will wipe the entire team if you do. Right after you kill the ogres and they drop their blight bombs, 4 light eater knights will spawn. Kill them as soon as you possibly can because they'll come up to your blights and they'll take them away. Every time you lose a blight to a light eater, it will negatively affect your damage phase. Ogres will only spawn once per damage phase on the very first run. So you need to make sure that you're running dimensions, calling out plates, killing ogres, and killing light eaters all at the same time. And just like the last encounter, do this 3 times, and on the 3rd run, you'll get the Brand Stealer buff. Once the 3rd run is complete, everyone who is in charge of a plate needs to now go stand next to their closest blight. While this is happening, a new knight will have spawned named the Vessel of Oryx, and he'll have a big immune aura around him. It will remain immune until the 3rd runner takes that Brand Stealer buff and runs up to the knight and steals the aura from it. Once that person steals the aura, they also need to kill the knight. Whoever's the other floater needs to help them kill that knight too. Note that if the person who is in charge of the plate is torn between dimensions, the floater in their corresponding area needs to go be in charge of their blight as well, which is the closest blight to their plate. Also note that the person with the Brand Stealer buff who steals the aura from the knight in the middle cannot go and cover a blight. It's too risky and you'll run out of time. After they kill that middle knight, text will appear on the left side of your screen saying, "Oryx calls upon the darkness." When this happens, everyone needs to jump in their blights simultaneously and wait for their name to show up in the feed on the left-hand side. Once you see your name in the left-hand side, beeline it for the center to make it into that aura. After a few seconds, Oryx is going to do a wipe mechanic and kill everyone outside of that aura. Only the people in the aura are safe. After the big flash of light, you can now damage Oryx. Rinse and repeat this until you get Oryx down to that little tick mark on his health bar. Now note that in between each damage phase, there are 2 possible events that Oryx will start. One is taking bombs. Every few seconds he's going to spawn a bomb on each player. So everyone needs to keep running continuously until these bombs stop spawning. Try to avoid running into your teammates because you can kill them super easy. After about 20 seconds the bombs will stop and then you can kill the taken knights that have appeared on the plates and continue as normal. The other event Oryx could trigger is called the Blight Dimension. At the end of the room where he spawns, he'll throw down a giant blight, and everyone needs to run to the front of the room and start killing Thrall on the left or right of it. While you do this, one by one, he'll randomly teleport people into the blight and attack them with his mini shadow form. When you are taken into the blight, your job is to kill the mini shadow form as fast as possible. If he teleports the entire team into the blight and you fail to kill him quick enough, he will wipe the team. Alright, now that you understand both of the mini events that can happen in between damage phases, there's one more thing you need to understand. Once you hit that little check mark on his health bar, Oryx will go into a final stand. He'll move from wherever he was before back to where he spawned. He will also spawn 2 more ogres on the 2 plates closest to him. Just like earlier, you need to kill both of them and have 2 people stand next to the blights when they drop. Again, once you see the text Oryx calls upon the darkness, both players need to jump into their blights, wait for the names to appear, and run back to the aura. Wait for the big white flash of light indicating he has done the wipe mechanic and now shoot his crit spot again. If you fail to kill him in final stand, he'll wipe the team and you'll have to start over again. But if you don't fail, you've killed Oryx and you've completed the King's Fall raid. For this encounter, I recommend using Arbalist, an SMG, and a linear fusion rifle. But now that you've defeated Oryx, congratulations on completing the King's Fall raid, and run up to your chest to get your final piece of loot. That same chest that you go to pick up loot from is interactable, so for raid spoils you can go purchase gear that you got throughout the raid. I hope this video was helpful and it made your raid experience better. And as always, if you find this video useful or entertaining, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button down below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day, Guardians.